Yes.
Rich, from your vantage point in the dugout, what do you think did make a major so effective?
I think he did have 3 pitches for strikes, and his slider he's got a power slider, and our guys were having trouble laying off of it. His fastball, he's running in the low 90s up to 93. I just thought he did a really good job. Our guys didn't have an answer to that. We didn't have a lot of good quality at bats. Before that, we had a lot. Even early in the game, we had our moments where we hit a couple liners to third. Right off the bat, the third baseman made a great catch on Peltz right to start the game. Later on, Justin Conant hit another liner to third. Then we strung those hits together, which was a real positive, took the lead. Shutdown innings we talk about all the time. I mean, there's moments in a game where momentum really carries the game. And we had a shot. We pulled back. We got to a lead. Into West Virginia's credit, like the boys said, they answered back. We weren't able to shut them down. We needed to shut them down at that moment. That was the moment of the game. And you have those, and especially when you're playing a high-level baseball, there's going to be a few moments where either a guy gets a timely hit, the pitcher makes the pitch at the right time, a player makes a play at the right time, and if you miss those moments, the margins are so tight, then the momentum shifts, and that was our moment. We had a moment, we just didn't finish it in that moment. And to West Virginia's credit, they answered back like the guys did. We've done that all year, and that's why we've had a successful season, is because our team has answered back many times over. Done it to other teams, we got it done to us today.
Yeah. Coach, you talked a little bit yesterday about the first rounders that you've had, the success that the program has had.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan Peltier is the first Gold Glove winner in the history of the program. He probably just played his last collegiate game. What has he meant to this program and for you as a coach?
Well, I would just say all these kids, pardon me. We run the program as family, so our culture's tight. That's probably the strength of our program. These are tears of joy, not of sadness. You ask kids to buy in. You ask them to give everything they have. You work with them every day. And it's a result-driven industry. But at the same token, the real result is that, what you just seen. You seen a kid who came here as a shortstop. We change him into a third baseman. He works his tail off. First couple years in his career has very limited success. Struggles, hitting, is an average fielder. But he keeps grinding it out. We keep working and spending all this time together. So the infielders, I coach the infielders, so they're like it's a little different because you get to spend so much time with them. And the passion that I had as a fielder and the coaches that I had before me, I try to give that to these kids, and they buy in. And Ryan, to his credit, developed into this fabulous player. He deserves a shot at to play at the next level. But to watch a kid grow from where we get them to where they are now as a older player, and then to have success like he's had, it's extra special. I mean, that's why you coach. You coach for the relationships, and I understand that you got to win and all that, and we've won our fair share. But the joy of coaching is seeing guys develop, seeing them realize their goals, seeing them develop as great teammates. In our program, we got a 3.4 cumulative grade point average. So, we're knocking it out of the park in all facets. And I don't mean that to brag, I just mean that's our culture. The guys buy in. We recruit good kids from good families. They work really, really hard, and for the most part, they get a lot better. Because we don't get the guy that often is already the polished player. For a mid-major to really be successful, is you got to take kids and develop them. And sometimes they develop all at the right time, and sometimes you have them all in the house, but they're not quite developed all at the right time. And so we haven't been able to have the depth that it takes to be over the top. We've been close, but we just hadn't been. And then the NCAA, the way the rules are, it's tough for Mid-American Conference teams because there's many times over we've had 2 teams in the league that really are worthy of playing in the tournament, but hadn't been given the opportunity. So if you're only getting one guy in the party all the time, like these kids, first time they experience it, had they experienced it 2 years ago when we should have got in my humble opinion, they might have had a different outcome. Because it's always like you got to experience something first. And so you're hoping you defy the odds on that. But the truth of the matter is, I mean, this first time they got to play in this kind of a setting. And it was great. It was a great experience. I'll never forget it. It's disappointing we didn't get the result we wanted, but nevertheless, I mean, I thought we were right there in both of the games. So getting back to Ryan, I just think Ryan's development, along with the other guys, watching Adam Tellier develop. When I took him, he was 6'3", 150 pounds. Guy's a pro prospect now. When you were talking about these guys had taken second base so many times over, it's been amazing hustle plays. Several of them that we've had. So all that was, he didn't quite understand your question, I think, but I know what you're getting at. That was just a hustle play. That's that's how he plays. Pelt did it probably 6-7 times himself. But we have a lot of guys that have done that. So I just think that was instinctive, like that's kind of like we celebrate the fact when they take the base like that. But to watch Telly grow the way he's grown, to watch Tex, Big Tex, grow as a player when we recruited him, just tell you something about Big Tex. Big Tex in his first year, there was probably only 4 or 5 games left in the first year. 4 or 5 weekends, and we were redshirting. And then all of a sudden he was showing well in the live hitting on midweek, like not against midweek competition in practice. And then all of a sudden we had an injury or something, and I asked Tex, I said, Tex, we got a non-conference series coming up. I hate to pitch you now because you're going to blow a year. But at the same token, maybe you'll get to pitch 10 innings this year, maybe you won't, I don't know. So I'm struggling with it. So I asked him. I said, so what are you doing? I called his dad up. And I called his dad, I said, hey, I'm mixed on this one. The kid's showing well, he's developing, should we do this or not? I said, we got to all make this decision together. Scott told him, the dad said, I wouldn't do it to his son. But he said, son, you got to grow into a man now. It's your call. Tex told me I want to pitch. That dude pitched in that weekend, and then he went the next 4 weekends he started. And then he went all the rest, he's been our starting pitcher. But it's development. So what we're talking about is development here because, like I say, we're not getting to start a player most of the time right out of the chute. We're getting guys that we have to grow. And we take great pride in it. We've done it for a long, long time. And those guys are Tellier, Peltier, Tex, and I could talk so many others. That's what they've done. Yes.
College baseball in the state of Indiana, Rich, is in a good place. 2 teams here, Indiana State hosting a regional, Evansville, Purdue, Notre Dame have had their moments in recent years. What does it mean to you, especially having been around Ball State for so long, to put Ball State into that conversation, especially with the stadium being fixed up a few years ago too?
Yeah.
Good step for the program.
Yeah.
This moment isn't great, but in a way it is. How do you?
Yeah, thank you for saying that. I think we've always been recognized nationally because of the top prospects we've had. We just hadn't been on the national scene, but if we're very well respected in the industry. We've beaten a lot of giants many times over. With that being said, this was a step that was it's uncanny that it never happened before this. I mean, it really is really strange because we've been in the finals several times over. And it's been really hard not to be in this party. But with that being said, this was a big step, and there's a lot of really good schools in the state of Indiana. And it's amazing for a state of the size that it is that it's produced that much good baseball. And we're certainly proud of our institution, proud of our players past and ones that we've currently have. We had 3 big leaguers up at one point this year, and it's possible we have 4 or 5. Think of that for a minute. If you think about it, for a team that was kind of a little unknown, not too many mid-majors can spout that off. I mean, we got 2 in the wings right now, getting pretty close, and we've had up to 3. We got 2 in the big leagues right now, and I think it's possible 4 or 5 at some point this year, which is really special. And those guys, by the way, talking about our players, the first rounders that came to Ball State, all but one of them, Brian Bullington, was the only one that was drafted out of high school. And he was drafted like 38th, 39th round. So for me, it's great because that means we've developed players. And then we take pride in developing people. Because at the end of the day, you're going to play baseball for a period of time. Time you're 30, you're out of baseball, almost 100%, if you get to make it to 30. So reality is life after baseball, and that's why we go to college. That's why we do what we do, and that's why we coach these kids, and that's why we teach them to be great teammates. And that's the beauty of coaching. We're highly competitive. I mean, it's painful right now because we really felt like coming into this we had a real shot. And I think if we win the first game, things bounce a little bit different. We score in that first inning, maybe we upset Kentucky, and then all of a sudden you're in a different place. But that's the beauty of baseball, and we weren't able to get it done.
Last question for Coach Maloney.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. Thanks, Bert.